Prologue. Stella's lifelong obsession was a plastic surgeon named Julian. After his wife passed away, Stella made him a shocking proposal. She wanted him to surgically alter her face to resemble his late wife's. At that very moment, I was at a business dinner, drinking so much that my stomach lining had begun to bleed. That's when I saw my wife's post on social media. It was a photo of her and Julian in a tight embrace, looking for all the world like lovers reunited after a long separation. The caption read, "I am willing to become the face you love, as long as I can stay by your side." I didn't scream. I didn't demand an explanation. I simply went home, took down our wedding album, and silently burned it to ash. When Stella returned, I was fumbling for a glass to take my stomach medication. The business dinner had dragged on, and the excessive alcohol had left a sharp, searing pain in my gut. My hands trembled so badly I could barely hold the pills. "Why didn't you even look at me when I came in?" Stella rushed towards me, her brow furrowed in anger, forcing me to meet her gaze. Her sudden movement caused the small white pills to spill from my shaking hand and scatter across the floor. A dull throb started in my temples. There was nothing to see. Just 3 hours earlier, I had seen the proof. Stella had gone through with it, transforming her face into a perfect replica of Julian's deceased wife, with Julian himself holding the scalpel. The surgery was a success, not a trace of her original features remained. And I could see, from the glow in her eyes, that she adored this new face. I tried to bend down to pick up the fallen pills, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. "Just stop it. Since when did you learn to talk back to me?" Stella's expression soured. She snatched one of the pills from the floor and contemptuously flicked it into the trash can. "Stella!" A roar filled my head, but the sharp pain in my stomach brought me back to a cold, lucid reality. "I don't have time for your games. Stop making trouble." "Leo, you're being unbelievable. I come home and you ignore me, you don't even make me dinner." Stella jabbed a finger at my chest. "And what was that comment you left on my post? Don't you know Julian's wife just died? How could you write something so cruel?" Every time Julian's name came up, she was ready for a fight, her face flushed with righteous indignation. In the past, I would have argued with her, begged her to keep her distance from him. But I learned that the more I protested, the more she defied me. Now, I was done talking. Beneath her post, I had written a simple, 6-word comment. "A joyous occasion. May you last forever." "It means exactly what it says," I replied, my voice flat. "It's what you wanted to hear, isn't it?" I finally met her eyes, then pushed past her, poured another pill into my palm, and swallowed it dry. "Leo! You're too much. Julian is grieving, his wife just died, and you say something like that? You're heartless," she declared, as if I had committed an unforgivable crime. "So you let him carve his dead wife's face onto yours," I stated, narrowing my eyes. Looking at this stranger's face, a wave of nausea rose from my stomach. "So what if I did?" Stella's confidence wavered, her gaze shifting away. "I did it to help him move on from his grief. He is, after all, my friend." "Friend," I scoffed. I wasn't blind. I knew exactly what they were to each other. I had just been unwilling to admit it to myself. I loved her, but she had taken that love and ground it into the mud. "Leo, didn't you say you loved my soul?" she lectured, shaking her head as if I were a disappointing child. "I only changed my face, and now you treat me like this. You disappoint me so much." In the past, the word disappoint would have been my undoing. I would have done anything to erase it. But now, I was just tired. "I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed." It was already past midnight, and I had an early meeting. The last thing I wanted was another fight. "Leo, I'm hungry. I want to eat," she said, suddenly grabbing my wrist. "Didn't you eat with Julian?" I stared at her. She had been with him all day and was only just now coming home, yet she expected me to cook for her. "Cooking is too hard. I only made enough for Julian." She shrugged, her face lighting up at the mention of his name. "You're not doing anything anyway, so just go make me something." I rolled my eyes. If you're hungry, go eat out. I'm exhausted, I worked late, and my stomach is killing me. I'm in no mood to cook for you. Providing for the family is a man's job. Why can other men handle everything, but you can't? She demanded. I took a deep breath, walked into the bedroom, grabbed my duvet and pillow, and headed for the guest room, ignoring her escalating shouts. Leo. You're just avoiding me. Do you have any sense of responsibility as a man? As her yelling faded behind the closed door, my phone buzzed. It was a picture from Julian. A photo of his hand intertwined with Stella's. The message read, "Thanks for taking care of my wife for me all this time, Leo." I typed back a simple reply. If you like her so much, she's all yours. Then, I turned off my phone. The next day, the pain in my stomach drove me to the hospital alone. The doctor's diagnosis was grim. The condition was serious, and he insisted I notify my family and be admitted for observation. Doctor, can't you just give me some medication? I don't need to be hospitalized, I pleaded, but my words were interrupted by a violent coughing fit. The doctor shook his head firmly. Absolutely not. Your condition requires hospitalization. Call your family immediately. Don't delay this any longer. Defeated, I called Stella. Hello, Stella, I'm busy right now, I don't have time, she cut me off. If you need something, find someone else. She hung up before I could say another word. The doctor, who had overheard, paused for a moment before shaking his head with a sigh. Young man, you need to love yourself. If a woman doesn't love you, don't cling to her. Sometimes, letting go is a liberation for both people. I nodded slowly. Our 5-year marriage had to end. I didn't expect to see her the moment I stepped out of the office. Stella was walking down the hallway, arm in arm with Julian, the two of them laughing together. I froze for a second, then tried to walk past them, but Julian spotted me. Leo, what are you doing here? Stella heard him and turned. The smile on her face instantly vanished when she saw me. Leo? Aren't you supposed to be at work? Why are you at the hospital? I let out a bitter laugh. I'm at the hospital to see a doctor, obviously. Unlike some people, who seem to need a hospital visit for every little thing. My barb was aimed squarely at Julian, who frequently visited the hospital for minor ailments, always with Stella by his side, no matter how busy she was. Leo, what are you talking about? Stella frowned, her face a mask of displeasure. Julian accidentally cut his finger. I just brought him here to get it bandaged. I glanced at the minuscule scratch on Julian's finger and laughed out loud. Well, you'd better hurry. If you wait any longer, it might heal on its own. My sarcasm brought tears to Julian's eyes. Leo, are you mad that I'm taking up too much of Stella's time? It's just that. I don't have anyone else to take care of me. I had no patience for his manipulative act and turned to leave. I never expected what came next. Stella slapped me, hard, across the face, in the middle of the crowded hallway. Leo, apologize to Julian. Now. The slap echoed in the sudden silence. Everyone was staring. I clenched my fists, taking a deep, ragged breath. Stella, don't push it. Push it? How am I pushing it? Julian and I are just friends. What's wrong with me taking a friend to the hospital? You, on the other hand, you come here without a scratch on you and accuse him of being dramatic. She crossed her arms, her expression dripping with contempt. A person with a dirty heart sees dirt everywhere. Whispers rippled through the onlookers, all of them speculating about our relationship. What's the deal with her and those two guys? They don't seem like a couple. I bet the one who got hit is the husband, and the one she's protecting is the other man. Who cares who's who? The one who isn't loved is the third wheel. Their words were a knife in my gut, but Stella was still waiting for my apology. Julian watched me with an amused glint in his eyes, before wrapping an arm around Stella's waist. It's all right, Stella. I'm sure Leo didn't mean it. He's just worried about you. Let's go. Worried? He doesn't love me, Stella cooed at Julian, then shot me a look of pure disgust. He only loved my old face. You're so much better, Julian. So understanding. Then back to me, Leo, I was wrong about you. I never knew you were such a vile person. Vile? I felt a sharp pain in my chest, as if a blade had pierced my heart. Fine. Let's get a divorce. At the word divorce, Stella's expression froze. What did you say? She asked, her voice laced with disbelief. I said, let's get a divorce. I'll have the papers drawn up. As soon as the words left my mouth, my stomach seized again. I coughed violently, tasting the metallic tang of blood in my mouth. I saw a flicker of something, was it shock, in Stella's eyes, but I pushed past her and walked away. 5 years. Our 5 years together had ended in a complete and utter defeat. 5 years of my devotion couldn't compete with a single, whispered phrase from Julian, Stella, I've missed you. I went straight from the hospital to my company and into my boss's office. He had been wanting to send me abroad to manage a new branch, an opportunity one had previously turned down because I couldn't bear to leave Stella. I had changed my mind. Sir, about that overseas opportunity you mentioned. I've reconsidered. I want to go. My boss looked surprised. I thought you couldn't leave your wife. I've realized that for a man, a career is what's most important. I don't want to waste this chance or your faith in me, I said, my voice firm. He agreed. I returned home with the divorce papers. As I walked in, I saw Stella sitting on the sofa. On the coffee table was a box of stomach medication. She saw me and started to stand, but then sat back down, her pride winning out. I know I was wrong. I bought this for you. Stop this nonsense. Even in apology, her tone was arrogant. I said nothing. I simply placed the divorce agreement on top of the box of medicine. Here are the papers. Let's get a divorce. Stella frowned, then stared at the document in disbelief. What are you talking about? Isn't this what you wanted? So let's do it. My voice was calm, my heart a placid lake. When the love is gone, you really can't feel the pain anymore. Divorce? Leo, we've been married for so long. Are you taking something I said in passing seriously? Is it because you don't love me anymore? She demanded, her eyes wide, not with remorse, but with accusation. I looked at her, at this stranger with her heavy, elaborate makeup designed to please another man, and felt a profound sense of revulsion. That's right. I don't love you anymore. I pointed to the papers. Let's get divorced. Then you can be with Julian openly, wearing his dead wife's face, playing the part of his wife. Without waiting for a reply, I went to our bedroom and took out our wedding album. In every photo, I was beaming, a wide, happy grin on my face. But looking at it now, after all these years, I finally noticed something I had been too blind with love to see before. Stella wasn't smiling. Not in a single picture. I used to believe that if I just treated her well enough, she would eventually come around. I realized now that was just a lie I told myself. I took out a lighter and set the entire album on fire. Stella burst into the room just as the last photo turned to ash. Her eyes widened in horror. Leo, what did you just burn? Our wedding photos, I said calmly. We're getting divorced anyway. What's the point of keeping them? Leo, you disappoint me so much, she said, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. I thought you loved my soul. But as soon as I changed my face, you stopped loving me. All that talk about loving me for who I am was just bullshit. Since you want a divorce so badly, then fine. We'll get a divorce. I love Julian anyway. Leo, without me, what do you have? You'll have nothing. She spat the words with venom, then stormed out, slamming the door behind her. I watched her go, feeling nothing. If only she knew what kind of man Julian really was, would she still say those things? It didn't matter. It had nothing to do with me anymore. I was leaving the country, and my focus was now solely on my work. We finalized the divorce. On the day, Julian came along. Stella clung to his arm, her face glowing with happiness. Julian, let's go get our marriage certificate right now. I can't wait to be with you. I looked at them and couldn't help but smile. Well then, I wish you both happiness, a house full of children, and a long life together. Stella's expression soured. You'll regret this, Leo. But thank you for the well wishes. Julian and I will be very happy together, and we'll have lots of children. You'll be so envious. Her words were a small, sharp sting. I remembered when I had wanted a child, and she had refused, saying it would ruin her figure. I had agreed, telling myself that as long as I had her, it was enough. We could always adopt. I never imagined she would be so willing to have children for Julian. Perhaps that was the difference between being loved and not being loved. Leo, you didn't know how to cherish a wonderful woman like Stella. It's truly pathetic, Julian said, pulling her closer. He looked at her with an expression of profound sympathy. Thank you for giving her back to me. I promise I'll heal all the pain she's endured. Stella looked ready to weep with gratitude. I found the whole scene laughable. Well, I won't disturb you two then. Congratulations on your new marriage, I said, then turned and walked away. My flight was in an hour. I was leaving this place to build a new life, a new career, in another country. And I was curious to see just how long their love would last. On the plane, my phone rang. It was Julian. I answered. What, you have time to call me right now? I asked with a chuckle. Leo, you probably don't know this, but I only married Stella for her money, he laughed, a loud, obnoxious sound. And this time, you've lost. I got her money, and you have nothing. I laughed too. And you probably don't know this, but when we divorced, Stella left with nothing. She was completely cut off. I could feel the silence on the other end of the line. Then, in a low, tense voice, he asked, What did you say? You heard me, I said, leaning back and enjoying the view of the clouds. Stella said your love for her was true, and you didn't need my dirty money. That you would provide for her. Weren't you marrying her for her? What a shame. Because right now, all she has is a heart full of love for you. The line went dead. Just before he hung up, I heard a string of curses. I smiled, set my phone aside, and began to look forward to my new life. I spent 5 years abroad, pouring everything into my work. I helped the company grow exponentially, and my boss, deeply impressed, flew out to see me. We clinked glasses in a high-end bar. Leo, I knew I wasn't wrong about you. In just a few years, you built this branch into a powerhouse, he said, his face full of admiration. It's all thanks to your guidance and for giving me this opportunity, I replied, raising my glass to him. Haha. Don't give me the credit. This was all you. I have no doubt our company will reach even greater heights with you at the helm. We talked excitedly about the future, about expansion and new ventures. Towards the end of the night, my boss hesitated. Leo, there's something I never told you. Seeing his reluctance, I was intrigued. What is it? In the 5 years you've been gone, your ex-wife came to the office looking for you. Many times. I told her you were overseas, but she wouldn't give up. She asked me to tell her the moment you returned. He looked at me with a conflicted expression. Leo, has she not called you? I wasn't surprised. Knowing Julian's true nature, it was only a matter of time before things fell apart for her. I took a sip of my drink. I blocked her number years ago. We're divorced. It's best to cut all ties, don't you think? My boss looked at me, his expression turning serious. Leo, are you sure you don't have feelings for her anymore? I remember how much you used to love her. That's over. Love and romance are for young people. All I want now is to work. Whatever is happening with her has nothing to do with me. I finally understood that my work, my own efforts, were what truly mattered. I regretted all the time I had wasted on her. My boss grinned and clapped me on the shoulder. That's the spirit. A woman who would get plastic surgery for another man isn't worth cherishing. Anyway, I have some other news that might cheer you up. Oh? I asked, smiling. Julian botched a surgery. The patient was a powerful man, and he's been raising hell at the hospital ever since. Julian is on the verge of bankruptcy. My boss recounted the story with more excitement than I felt myself. So? Feeling any better? I laughed. A little. Thanks, boss. Of course. Taking care of my employees' morale is part of the job, he winked. And speaking of which, I have a proposition for you, and I don't want you to say no. Go on. Since you're over Stella, how about I introduce you to someone? I think you two would be a great match. After some good-natured banter, I finally gave in. I was heading back to the country soon anyway, so I agreed to meet her. She was his sister. I returned home and met her the day I landed. Her name was Clara. She was a bright, thoughtful woman with a graceful demeanor. We talked for hours and got along wonderfully. As we were heading home, I ran into Stella. I never imagined I would see her here. She had been waiting in the neighborhood of our old apartment. I had brought Clara back to my place to show her an old photo of me and my boss, and that's where I found her. Stella was holding the hand of a small child, a little girl who looked like she had just learned to talk. It was clearly her child with Julian. And Stella herself was covered in bruises, ugly purple and blue marks mottling her skin. Leo. She breathed my name, then her eyes fell on Clara. They widened in fury. Who are you? Clara, who knew my story, smiled graciously and extended a hand. Hello, my name is Clara. Stella ignored the gesture, her face contorted with rage. She pointed a trembling finger at Clara. You bitch. Seducing my husband. Have you no shame? Clara was taken aback. I immediately pulled her behind me, my own anger flaring. Stella, watch your mouth. Miss Clara is my guest, and there's a child present. I looked at the little girl, who also had faint bruises on her arms. She hid behind Stella's legs, terrified. Leo, you said you only loved me. Stella cried, her eyes red as she pointed at Clara. So who is this woman? Stella. I snapped. We are divorced. We have no relationship. Who I see is none of your business. I turned to Clara. Miss Clara, I'm so sorry you had to see this. If it's all right, I can bring the photo to the office tomorrow. Clara, though initially shocked, composed herself quickly. She was a woman of the world. It's all right, Mr. Chen. I'll see you tomorrow, then. After she left, I turned back to Stella. What are you doing here? I asked, my voice cold. Leo. She hesitated, then pulled the child forward. Look, this is your child. Our child. We have a child, Leo. Let's get back together, please? We can raise her together. Her eyes shone with a desperate, manic light. I looked at the little girl. The resemblance to Julian was undeniable. And Stella was claiming she was mine. It was pathetic. Stella, what are you talking about? We're divorced. And isn't this your child with Julian? No, Leo, you always wanted a child, remember? You were even willing to adopt. Just think of her as our adopted child. She's my child, so she's our child, right? She looked at me as if I were her last hope. Seeing the child's frightened expression, I frowned. Stella, stop this madness, you're scaring her. If there's nothing else, you should go. I turned to leave, but she called my name. When I looked back, she had fallen to her knees on the pavement. Leo. I have nowhere else to go. Julian and I are getting a divorce. He never loved me. Please, can we get back together? I promise I'll be good to you. She sobbed. He's in debt, and he beat us and threw us out. We have nowhere to go. If you don't want this child, we can send her to an orphanage. Then we can have our own baby, what do you say? She was completely unhinged. The little girl, as if understanding her words, burst into tears. No, don't send me away. I don't eat much. My heart ached. I walked over, pressed a few $100 bills into the child's small hand, and said to Stella, You're a cruel woman. This is Your daughter, and you would throw her away like that. Take this money. Find a place to stay, buy some food, and don't come looking for me again. Then I walked into my building without looking back. The next day, I gave the photo to Clara. After we chatted for a while, she finally asked, Mr. Chen, the woman from last night, was that your wife? I didn't hide it. Yes. My ex-wife. I'm sorry you had to witness that. Don't be, she said with a kind smile. My brother told me your story. Everyone has a past they'd rather forget. I'm interested in the man you are now, not the man you were. I looked at her and smiled back. Thank you, Clara. Julian showed up at my company. Stella must have told him I was back. The security guards threw him out, but he sat on the curb like a vagrant, refusing to leave until he saw me. Finally, I went down. He looked nothing like the suave surgeon he once was. Unshaven and disheveled, he looked more like a homeless man. Leo, I really misjudged you. I always thought you were just a pathetic doormat, but look at you now, all successful and polished. I'll take that as a compliment, Julian. Huh. That bitch Stella told me you were back. Here's the deal. I'll divorce her, you can have her and the kid. Just give me $1 million. What do you say? He said it so casually, as if his wife and child were commodities to be traded. You really have no shame, Julian. That's your wife and your daughter. Wife, daughter, who cares? You give me the money, they're all yours. You are garbage, I told him, then pulled out my phone. You've done some creative accounting over the years, haven't you? A lot of tax evasion. What do you think would happen if I called the authorities right now? The color drained from his face. Leo. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I dialed the emergency number. Before the call could connect, Julian scrambled to his feet and ran. I watched his pathetic retreat and found it utterly ridiculous. Stella came to find me again, with the child in tow. Leo, can you give me some more money? Please? We really have nothing. She wept, then nudged the child. Quick, call him Daddy. A headache pulsed behind my eyes. Stella, stop this. You're divorced from Julian now. Get a job. Take care of your daughter. No, she paled. I've never worked a day in my life. I don't know how. Julian won't give us any money, what are we supposed to do? She wailed, and the child started crying with her. Just then, Julian appeared, chasing after them. He grabbed a fistful of Stella's hair. You worthless bitch. Can't you live without a man? He doesn't want you, why do you keep crawling back? With all this time you're wasting, you could be selling yourself. That's a faster way to make money. The child's cries grew louder, and the scene descended into chaos. I saw red. I threw a punch, catching Julian square on the jaw. You hit your wife, you let your child go hungry, and you call yourself a man? I snarled. Though I no longer loved Stella, I couldn't stand by and watch a man beat a woman, especially in front of her child. You dare hit me, he yelled, releasing Stella and pointing a finger at my nose. You're a nobody, Leo. No one wants you. You'll never be better than me. He threw a punch. Stella screamed. We fought, but years of working out had kept me in shape, while Julian had let himself go completely. He was no match for me. I had him pinned to the ground in moments. Stop fighting. Stella shrieked, her face pale. I shoved Julian away. Get lost. Stay as far away from me as possible. I spat on the ground and turned to leave. When I saw Stella and the child start to follow, I sighed. Stella, we're divorced. It's over. This was your decision. You have a child now. Build a life for yourselves. Don't come to me again. I took out a bank card. I'll give you this. Consider it a chance to start over. The pin is my birthday. I hope you can make a new beginning. With that, I went upstairs. Stella stood there, her expression blank, and for once, she didn't follow. I never saw her again. One day, I read a small article in the news. A man and a woman had died in a murder-suicide in a squalid basement apartment. Before she died, the woman had left her young child with a neighbor. A sense of desolation washed over me. I found the child and took her to a good orphanage. I gave the director the money from the card I had given Stella, with a significant amount added, and asked him to ensure the child was well cared for. He agreed. As I was leaving, the little girl looked up at me and said, in a small, clear voice, "Thank you. I married Clara. She was a wonderful woman, strong and independent, and a true partner. We had a beautiful child of our own. My career flourished, and together with my boss, we took the company to new heights. Everything, in the end, turned out for the best."